What's up, world? Today's video is about Flipside taking down NIP for a quarterfinal spot at the major. I mean, in a really huge upset if you ask me, or even if you ask anybody that's playing pick'ems, because look at this. Look at this. Everybody counted Flipside out, but they played beautifully and on the CT side of Mirage in the turn map. It was a poor start by NIP also. 7 rounds on the CT side in the first half on Mirage is kind of poor, and then Flipside they go on the CT side and they show him how it's done pretty much. So let's go and break every round down and see how Flipside qualified for the quarterfinals. So here you have Exist. He has a smoke and a flash. He's gonna smoke CT, flash over for the guys if there's a CT close. And second flash goes to jungle. Not a very good flash because he pretty much flashes everybody, every one of his teammates. But here the strat is you have Get Right that's lurking mid. You have the 4 guys on ramp. So you smoke CT spawn and your teammates, I mean existed teammates, they rush connector or jungle if you want. And you have that set flash just to help them like cut the range. Everything makes sense because I mean the smoke on spawn, it neutralizes the Waylander. He can't do much, and typically that's where a CD player will be on the pistol, because you have USP, you're on ticket booth or whatever near the box, and you have the angle on the ramp on the T slope, and you really have the better angle. You can jiggle peek and everything, and you can one tap with your USP with the range advantage. With this strat, I really like it actually from the NIP. They'll cut the range because the players playing here, well, I mean your close range. I mean the Glock versus the USP. There's not much of a debate at that point. They're at the same range, and what goes in NIP's favor is actually the numbers game. They'll just gang up on whoever's playing in this zone, and they'll win that fight. So they're gonna control the zone. And you have Get Right lurking mid and Exist. He's gonna go right away and straight planet for the guys at connector after they win their fights. So 4v5 retake situation for Flipside. You have Get Right here. So he sees Markelov going into ladder room, and they know he's lit because somebody gooshed him. So he tunnels on him really hard. But Markelov is smart. He waits for World Edit to come to his rescue. So they pair up. Get Right here. He sees 2 players jumping up. Man advantage for NIP. That's fine. He gets the info. But then he fights. Well, I mean he repeaks it or whatever. Or even like a couple of jumps was too much. Man advantage. I always say it. You don't have to press the issue. You play more passive. What I would have done if I were him, I would have gone like underpass or even chair, something like that. Underpass preferably, because you saw Markelov in ladder room. He can go back in there and drop, and you'll hear him drop. So you get that information, and you know World Edit is on cat. So I mean, if he goes connector, you can block him off. So you'll really like retain 2 of these CDs players for if you win your fight. Well, good for you, and even then you can stall them from taking the site. Plus it's a really keeping control of mid is really important, because then these guys will pinch your teammates in the jungle area, and these guys will get an angle on them also. So that fight actually, it was really compromising for NIP's game plan overall. Also, Markelov, he doesn't stop there. He knows he's low HP, or he already made a smart play of waiting for World Edit. Now he jumps into window. If he would have missed that jump, he would have died. And this is the only way he gets a kill at this point. I mean, connector was kind of too open. You even see World Edit, he gets tagged. Here, well, Piff turns his back and he gets killed. So really a great round by Markelov. And actually a bad round for Get Right. 2 veteran players, and Markelov did a superior play. I mean, I really like the idea of an IP. I really like the strat. It makes sense, but that fight lost by Get Right was really crucial. But it's also the fact that, I mean, with the smoke, with the planet itself, it's really predictable to have a lot of T's here, so you expect a lot of fighting. But like the pinch from flip side was really good. So in that regard, like the retake was successful. It's been credit to them. This round there's not much to talk about. It's pretty much an anti-eco by Flipside, and actually NIP they save hard. They don't even go for the Tech 9 armor or something. They work be halls, slow round, and if I have to point out anything, it's Flipside. They play it well in terms of anti-eco. They play it at long range. Long range, there's always someone to trade. They have the superior artillery, so hey, it's exactly how you want to play it. On to the next round. This round, since NIP planted on the first round, they're gonna buy up. And what they do is they're actually gonna straight up execute on A. So you see Get right here. He throws a smoke top mid to signal okay there's gonna be presence at mid, but that's actually a fake. But now you have 3 smokes left, and this is kind of specific to an IP. Usually the guy that smokes top mid, he'll go in palace, because usually you don't really need to smoke in palace, because like what do you smoke? But actually they prefer Piff. He's gonna smoke on balcony. He's just gonna jump out actually. So the 2 other smokes are gonna go in jungle and on spawn. So they're gonna leave stairs open. But I guess they're expecting an A retake, so it's not really necessary to smoke anything else. And they really want their fights here since they have the AKs. It could make sense. The key thing here is whatever they fight at A, and they play retake actually. Oh yeah, they played a retake. As you can see, you have 4 players alive, and Blade gets the info. There's nobody lurking mid. That's really key information. But I just forgot to point out, like if you see here, Waylander died here. I mean, like, your setup is a retake, and you play ramp alone. Like there was a guy cat, a guy window, and a guy connector for flip side, and Shara was playing on. He's anchoring B in a passive position. But when under here, he plays like near the ramp, which I really don't like. He even trades. He traded. Where is he? Yeah, he traded 1 for 1. But I mean, 1 for 1. But you trade the site control, so that's really a bad trade. It's a low impact frag. I really don't like the fact that he played like really close to ramp. Gray gets the first kill. He should have gotten this kill also. A veteran, I mean, a really good player like Forrest should have gotten that kill. So what did it? He waits for Markarov. He throws his nade. Gets a Kobe on Piff. They're gonna go for the ninja defuse, which they'll get. I would have liked what they did to have a better cover, but hey, at least they got the ninja defuse still. So Forrest should have gotten the kill on World Edit. Waylander, I didn't like his position, and Blade got the info that there isn't a lurker. So those are the factors that gave Flipside the round. And this round, we're gonna smoke top mid again. This time they're switching up the pace, and they're gonna take mid control real fast. And again, Flipside, they're playing the same setup as last round, like heavy mid control. But this time I preferred this position for Waylander, right? He plays spawn, because it's a retake. All he has to do when he plays spawn is get the info. Okay, I see two slope and one palace or something like that, and just delay with his. He even has some. He has a flash and a molly. He can just molly the site or flash over just to delay him and keep them in this zone right here to stall an IP down, slow an IP down, and wait for the rotate. But this time around, they're going mid fast, and Frips is gonna lose their fights actually. So when he recognizes this opportunity, he gets smoked out in spawn. But instead of like turtling up behind the ticket booth, he sees an opportunity to go aggressive. And like, it's really I really like the approach because now it's 4-on-3, and there's a lot mid. So he takes a fight, an aggressive approach because he wants to equalize the numbers, and he has to make a play. So he isn't scared. He tries to take an advantage, but he loses his fight. But I like the idea. I mean, I'll still say it. So this is a solid positioning for an IP. Not much to do for Markelov. He should save. And that's what he's gonna do. He spots the AWP. Yeah, that's exactly what he's gonna do. I'm gonna show you his nice shots. This is great game sense actually. Nice shot. Alright. So, I mean, there was supposed to be they had the right setup for flip side. They had the tree around mid and one here. So they had 3 mid and 2 anchors, and there were 3 guys on NIP side taking mid. But I really think it's the pace itself that threw flip side off. They never went mid fast, so I guess they weren't expecting it, even though they had players there. So this round, there's not much to do. Markelov, he has the AWP, his team is full saving. It's on him to make the big plays, but I mean, at this point, exactly, there's nothing to do. There were more Flipside were more towards the A site, and they wouldn't be, so they can't do anything about it. A retake isn't in the cards, but at this point they really want some exit frags to really damage NIP's economy, which is kind of tight. But I don't understand, like, what's this and this? How can they get kills at this point? Maybe on cat for the guys on window and shit. But this Waylander, I have no idea what he's doing. Why would NIP chase with so little money? So I would have preferred like better exit positions. This time around, I mean, Flipside was in double safe territory, so that's exactly what's gonna happen. But this time they're going mid aggressive. What they did, he loses his fight. Markelov just goes off in this round. Waylander actually tasers Forest. And exits gets a frag. Interesting. You have one ramp on A slope, one in Palace, and the rest of the guys were gonna go connector. This is really important for the next rounds, especially on NIP's default. Look at what happens, right? Forest dies on Palace, and nobody's there to trade property, I guess. I mean, exists, he does trade him, but he really compromises his position. He has to really go out and reach for him, which is risky if there was another player on A. And probably Waylander wouldn't be that aggressive alone, except he did so on A slope earlier. But yeah, and AP's gonna adjust to that, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the thought behind their minds. So, no, Markelov really goes off. He saved them this round. 3 huge AWP kills. This is vintage Markelov in 1.6 days. One of the best AWPers that ever existed. And what happens is they play really passive, and they even let exist plant. But that's fine. I mean, in a round like this, you didn't invest anything, pretty much. except Markov that still had the ult. He won that. He won that round by himself, pretty much. It's already a win at that point. In a 1v3 situation, it's already a win. And at that point, they just want to make sure, absolutely sure, that they win it. So they play passive. This round, what happens? It's... Alright. I'll show you exactly what goes wrong for NIP this round. It's gonna force a timeout. So, I'm gonna explain you the smokes. So it's pretty much like the other rounds. Get right, he smokes top mid. Freiburg, he still has his. He's gonna go behind the box. He's gonna smoke window. And you have a execute right here. Piff is gonna do his usual smoke here. You're gonna go on A slope. You have one smoke left. It exists since Forest doesn't even have one. And what he's gonna do is he's gonna smoke spawn. And it's like just like their pistol. They're gonna rush connector. And then I'm a fan of it. I really like different approaches instead of like your typical smoke jungle, smoke stairs, smoke spawn, and we just rush it. But it goes wrong because of Exist. He really a poor grenade management, I guess. Yeah, I'll show you right now. But I'm also gonna explain why Piff prefers smoking this and just dropping in sight. Because since you're rushing connector and jungle, if you smoke stairs and there's a guy stairs, he can pretty much use the smoke to his own advantage and like jump from the smoke behind you guys. So I guess they don't want to take the risk of having a smoke that plays against them. So he prefers smoking it himself off and just jumping in sight. Because what his role is in this rush is, since his team is rushing this way, if a guy plays sight, what happens? Like he's just gonna shoot him in the back. He just wide peeks, take that angle, clears it out for him. He kills the guy if he comes out spawn or sight. That's pretty much his role. But what goes wrong is here. Oh yeah, and Freiburg's lurking mid with a deagle. I like that idea in the sense that a lurker is pretty much behind the enemy lines. So, well, the deagle is pretty decent as a one-shot gun. But why not like bring an AK over there? It's just because you're supposed to have a positional advantage being behind guys and whatever. So you want to put like the main force with the best artillery. That's what I find. So just like in the first round, Exist, he smoke spawn. He flashes over, that's fine. It's exactly like in Pistol, right? So the first flash clears out the guys if there's a CT close. Like, I mean, right next to ramp or pretty much an angle on shadow or whatever. Like close quarter battles. And here, I don't know why. Like, what the hell is he flashing? Like, what is that flash? I don't know. And here, if you see, actually, where did it? What? Alright. So you see the blue line on the screen? That's a great counter flash from World Edit, because it keeps this tease over here. Oh wait, I gotta play it out a little. Okay, the flash popped, so you have three T players blind, and it keeps them there. They can't advance if they're blind, right? But even worse, like the flash that exists through, like really close to ramp, when you flashed over. Now, well, your teammates, they can't just rush connector as planned. Yeah, like everything is planned. I mean, even the smoke on window is planned. Like like the CT players will shy away from staying in window and they'll go near jungle, and then you take the fight on them, while they're blind. But now they won't be blind. That's the key thing. And now it's just a shooting gallery for all they did. Like, look at this angle. Like, it's so open, and especially if you have an AWP and blade. Like, if you're in jungle, you have better angles. Like, Rolledit can just strafe to the left and like re-peek again. He can jiggle peek. He can sort of readjust his angle, and even Blade's there to support him, although he loses his fight. I mean, you did the proper play in the pistol in flashing over stairs and letting your team rush jungle. But now you don't. He didn't have that flash. I don't know. As I said, I don't know why he flashed over again. So here, it's just his shooting gallery. So if you're in here, in this zone here, and you're trying to rush jungle, you really need that flash to really like cut the distance. But at this point, the even Waylander could have shot them in the back. You have this angle, and stairs angle, and nothing there to help you get to this point. So that was really compromising from Exist. And this round's pretty much over. There's bombs in the middle of nowhere. You don't have any utility left on against 4 guys. Even Shara could have rotated at this point. I don't know. I mean, not Shara. Whoever's on B. Markolov. He could have even took an angle on Cat. He doesn't do that, but whatever. And now NIP, it forces a timeout. I mean, they're letting the match slip. This round, not much to talk about. Obviously, it's not the round that they talked about in the timeout, but it's a round that you all saw on Reddit. It's Waylander's highlight. He kills 4 people in connector. You saw it from his perspective, but if you look at it from another angle, you'll see how dumb it is. It made Pansy wet, but hey, I mean, yeah, 4 headshots. But they peeked one by one. Like Force gets the first info. That's what you call trade fragging. Like obviously you don't expect him there. He was next to triple box in the open. So first he peeks first. That's normal. You don't have a flash. You don't. So you just go in there dry. He gets killed. He tells the info. Oh, he's on triple box right next to it. And then the response is, okay, let's double peek it. Especially if you have a guy on cat and a guy connector, so you can like double peek it, like on 2 heights, like a level change pretty much, and that's impossible to land. Like he can land another headshot, but not both of them. It's really baffling to me how it was like a lack of fundamentals. Just wants his ace at this point. Yes, it's around that NIP can win anyway. They don't have any head armor, so it's easy for an AK to one-shot everybody. But still, like the fundamentals of it were kind of lacking. Like peeking one by one, it's kind of open level if you ask me. So 14-9. So this is the round that NIP talked about in their timeout for sure. What they're gonna do is, wait a sec. Yeah. So what they're gonna do is they get ready smokes top mid, and they're gonna run their default because they haven't run it yet. If you think about it, they had some A executes, and they were on eco most of them. So this is their default, okay? And it's 2 top mid. It's 1 underpass that joins up with the guys on mid. They'll leave Piff. He goes on cat with the right smokes, and he lurks. Whatever, he can choose like whatever angle he wants. And you'll have 2 on A slope. So you have 2 guys pinching in here, 2 guys pinching in here, and Piff he's lurking on cat. Cool. Let's play it out. Just gonna. So World did. He's like, he got flushed out of mid, and he's just in this like, what the hell? This really weird angle. Blade is still anchoring in spawn, so they get pinched in here. So World did. He was playing window obviously, and even typically he gets flushed out of mid. So he goes on the steps, he jumps down, and he's in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't have a proper angle to deal with anything. And like the guy on side dies. Oh, that's what they did. The guy on balcony dies. And that's really how the pinch works. Like the guys on connector, they take this angle, and the guys on slope, they take this angle. So like this, and then it clears out everything. That's exactly how it works. The proper reaction to that, in giving up mid, instead of like accepting your fate in a way, and just, okay, they have mid control, let's just cluster up and die eventually. The proper reaction to that is, if it's not really a bad decision to give up mid, but you really have to have a reaction to that. What I do, what I suggest actually, it's to trade it. Like either you take a slope for yourself or you take palace. I mean, you had two players here. Instead of playing a retake as they've always done up to this point, Waylander and Blade, they could have made a play to trade off a map control. I mean, okay, like, I mean, Blade can like, okay, I'll flash ramp and you just push, or same thing for Palace. So in that case, they'll have like, for example, this control, and that would have been like the best case scenario if they would have pulled off that play, because the bomb was on A slope with Forest and get right. So they have bomb down there. They had control here. Let them take the A side, but they have to. Like, they'll get like, if they take A side, you're here, and there's guy here, and their rotators coming from here and here. Then it's the T's that they're gonna get like boxed in. So they didn't trade the map control, and that's what prompted their loss in that round. So again, flip side are gonna go for the buy. Their money was in a good place, but this is really all they have. They're gonna be more aggressive on mid. They don't really change their setup for their usual setup from before. Again, Waylander, I'm not a fan of it. It's not so bad this time since Blade is kind of with him. So NIP, they slow down everything. It's been a while since Flipside didn't push anything. They make an aggressive move, so they wait it out. But it's pretty much the same thing. Exactly the same thing. One underpass, two top mid. You have a guy in Palace. You have a guy on slope. Then Force joins up with get right. They're gonna pinch on A. Do Flipside react properly? Not really. You're pretty much gonna fall for the same thing. Because again, like, Blade is in the open. They don't adjust properly to the mid control. They just stay pretty much in the same corners. Like, they have an incoherent setup. They just get pinched in, and that's how the pinch works. That's good stuff by NIP. It's bad stuff from Flipside because, as I've said, what you want to do in that situation is trade the map control that you're losing. And properly so, they're gonna do it this round. Spoiler alert. So again, NIP now they slow it down, not because they didn't push anything, but it's also because they know they're saving. Especially when you win 2 rounds in a row, that usually prompts a save. Unless like the other team won like 10 rounds in a row. Like 2 rounds is enough to break the economy. So what it did, takes a risk. Whatever, right? It's a save round. Waylander has this awkward angle, but it makes sense. Oh no, he always does this with his taser. That's how he got force on that eco. Oh yeah, on that eco actually. So here, all right. So they recognize that it's their NIP's default, and what they do is they're gonna do a set play between Blade and Worlded. So he says, okay, they're executing right now, and it's a perfect timing. Well, Blade, he knows it. It's a perfect timing. So he does a set play. He flashes connector. Beautiful. Worlded wins the fight. And at that exact moment, you know how Waylander was on that awkward angle. Now he actually pushes because they're expecting 2 people to go ramp, and rightfully so. Because again, in this round, well, they fight more so on for mid control, but it's kind of eventually Worlded is gonna die. He's gonna get pinched in by 2 guns, but they know what's coming next. I mean, Palace was always open. They know this. It's always 2 connector, 2 slope, and one lurking. So he pushes at the right time because, I mean, Forrest was pretty much watching it in the beginning of the round. It also makes sense if you see 2 slope eventually in the round. What was the guy? There's a guy watching ramp, obviously. What was the other guy doing this whole time? He's watching Palace for sure. So he didn't cross that line just to Well, one, he has a good chance with his taser. Two, I mean, he didn't want to take the risk of getting spotted too soon, because that's the whole game plan of trading map control. So Blade here, he gets a kill, and what he says now is, trade me if I ever get killed. Exactly. Beautiful, beautiful work. Again, like, it's the same default by NIP. Flipside had guns in the previous round, and even the one before that. Why did it work that time with like pistols and one M4? It was because they adapted. Beautiful adaptation. Now they noticed like who goes where, how many people. Like NIP, they fell into a pattern of like, yes, it's a default, but they really needed a switch up or something. It was getting predictable, especially like the smokes and everything stayed the same. They smoke top mid, they smoke in window. The rest of the smokes they throw it from A slope. So this time around it's a fake on B with bomb on A. But Blade here, he does a key play. He pushes mid. He doesn't see anything. He's like, okay, there isn't anybody mid. So do they? I think he kind of figures out that like nobody really rushes B, like fully commits B halls. I mean, so he even flashes here to expect them. Okay, like it'd be dumb to have 5 people in B halls, so maybe they're coming back down, or like there was already somebody back down. But that's not the case. Anyways, it's a good hold by the B site. He spots the bomb on A. 3 on 3, not the worst situation, but the key thing here is Forest. He's like super late. Super late. Get right where it's lit. He gets killed here. He doesn't have anywhere to go. And now Exist. Like, oh my god. Well, that's really good game sense by what they did. I don't know what like pointed out that he was there. But Exist, he overcommits because I mean, Force is so far. His only role in that situation is to stay alive. Exist should have stayed alive, should have played the clock, played the time. I know he wants to like pinch in whoever it was in connector with Forest. But even more important than that, it's not about the kills, it's about the bomb plant and where the bomb is. I mean, Forest can't see it from his angle, and Exist would have been the only one. Even if Forest was like around here, it would have been really a tight defuse anyways. So Exist should have stayed alive. That's replay the bomb, please. So really big mistakes from NIP. Exist comes to mind when they smoke spawn. They tried to push jungle. He like wasted his flash pretty much. In that play, he didn't stay alive. I don't want to like point fingers, but really those 2 rounds are really key to me. That come to mind in terms of like a misplay for someone. Obviously, get right in the pistol round that loses you 3 rounds. And really good adaptation by Flipside. Blade reads the default and he breaks him down in an eco round, predicting that, like noticing the patterns of NIP, sending 2 slope and 2 connector, 1 lurker. And even at that round that they won with a save, Markolov, he expected Piff to lurk this time around on Cat, so everybody adapted. I'm pretty sure he talked about it like in between rounds on freeze time, that this is their default, and if you see a smoke top mid, a smoke in window, then they expect exactly these players to come out. And really they saw that Palace was open. All of those things, really they figured it out. By the way, two ramp, is it bad? Not really, cause as I've said before, you know when after he tasered Forest, then like Exist had to commit his position, so like a trade was possible but risky. I guess at that point they just wanted the buddy system on ramp, but the key thing is that Flipside, they understood the concept and they traded map control, as I've said. Like when goes in there while they take the site. Really good stuff. Really good adaptation. So congratulations to Flipside. They banked their first ever appearance in the quarterfinals and claiming their Legends status. And in IP they lose it for the first time. I hope you liked the video. I hope you learned something, and have a good day.